Hi everyone, it is Tracy Chamberlain Higginbotham of Women Ties, here again with another fantastic woman entrepreneur in our Women of the Week series. And I'm really excited for this interview because if you know something about me, maybe a little bit about me, I'm Italian and I'm also from Rome, New York, even though Women Ties is based here in central New York and we provide services for women entrepreneurs across New York State. So my guest today actually lives in Rome, New York, which is my hometown, and her last name is Cacciatori, which, to be honest with you, last night I made chicken cacciatori. Not lying, it's my favorite dish. I must have done it because I knew I'd be speaking to April Cacciatori of Zensations today. So welcome, April. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that caught my eye when you sent the email was the fact that you've expanded this year. So, with the COVID pandemic, so many businesses shrank and unfortunately closed, but you expanded. Was it something you planned on, or was it just kind of the way that your business flowed this year?
Well, it's kind of a lot of things rolled into one. I've been in business and I've had a massage practice for 16 years. Okay. And we did close for 3 months during the pandemic when people so desperately needed the services, but with good reason, we had to step back. So coming back into practice, people came back very quickly, really in need of massage, stress relief, coaching, life coaching, all the things. And being one person, we were a staff of three. I only have one gal is one day, but three. So I felt, well, it's kind of scary, but we need to expand and I can't do this myself. So with every great foundation, you build a team, you build up. And I hired 2 more therapists who are fantastic. And we are expanding. We expanded, yes, this year, and we're actually going to open up the rest of our building and redo the upstairs to create more treatment rooms and meeting space. So I can actually include women's circles in person.
Awesome.
As we move into next year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that is really wonderful. I don't know why my face has gone red all of a sudden. I look red. I don't know why, but all of a sudden you're looking very white and I'm looking red. So I apologize for anybody watching this. The sun went down, but I shouldn't be red. But what I was going to say is that we were just last week in Rochester at one of our Women's Ties members who expanded during the pandemic. And she said, you know what, the opportunity was there to do it. And I could have, kind of shrank during this point of time, or I could have expanded. And I had to really take the risk to expand. And she's so glad that she did. And I don't know how many years have you been in business for? How many times have you taken big risks?
Right. Since the beginning, 16 years, every entrepreneur knows, every business women business owner starting a business, there's risk, there's fear, there's anxiety, but stepping into it with a big deep breath turns fear into excitement.
I know.
And of course, just making the decision, right, I felt was a big step.
Yeah, there was a quote when I decided to run in the Boston Marathon with Catherine Switzer. She used the phrase, when you're fearless, you're free. And I've always loved that because if you think about it, fear really kind of closes you down. And when you let whatever you're afraid of go, it's so empowering. It really is.
It truly is. Yes. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. Well, congratulations for doing that.
Thank you.
So one of the things the other thing that I read about that sounded really interesting was this retreat in this program that you're doing called My Soul's Compass. And I love the name of it. I think that's what caught my eye when I first saw it. Can you explain a little bit about the mission of that program and what it involves in case there are women listening that would like to participate?
Absolutely. So My Soul's Compass has come together. It's a 4-month program I'm offering this summer, and I'm sure I will expand upon it next winter as well. But this is the first season of it. And it is truly to find out what it is you desire. Ask yourself, what do I want? See, it seems like a very simple question, but if you get down into the truth, we all have secret thoughts we don't share with anybody about things we would really desire, whether it's the oceanfront home or making more money or starting a business, a lot of times we're shut down by the shoulds and coulds and of others, the ideas of others, and we don't get to express our own truth. So this program goes deeper into clarifying what it is you want and how do you get there.
Right.
My soul's compass, like anything we desire is in here. That's an indicator of what it is your purpose is in this life, right?
Right.
But we tend to shut that down and kind of squash it because we don't either. It sounds silly or ridiculous or somebody else poo-poos it.
Right.
So 4-month program diving deep into getting clear, reframing negative self-talk, self-love. I'm including some gratitude challenge in there, like 7 to 14 days to create a habit, to create a habit of being present. And also anybody who signs on in full payment is able to come to the retreat for free.
Wow.
The retreat is in October. My Soul's Compass retreat is in Tabor, New York at Wellness Stay Lodge and Sanctuary. And if you check out my Facebook page, I've got some video on there, and actually in the link to the program, there's a little sneak peek of the lodge. It's a beautiful little gem of nature sanctuary right in our own backyard. And I love doing retreats there.
Yeah, you know what? I always feel every day is kind of a retreat for me because I get out at some point in nature, and we're so lucky in central New York. All the national news focuses on the snow that we get, and you have to be able to enjoy all 4 seasons. But you know, the fall is a perfect time to do a retreat and to enjoy all the beautiful colors that are out there. And we used to do an annual retreat in September, October for women ties, and women really looked forward to it because you're so busy within your business. And I don't know if your retreats are only for women entrepreneurs or for women in general, but if you don't walk away and outside of your own space to do something, it's really hard to get to those kind of change elements that you're talking about.
Very much so. Women, people in general are taught work harder. The harder you work, the more you'll achieve. When I find it to be counterintuitive, yet if you slow down and take a breath, back off, you'll learn sometimes less is more, many times less is more. You just need to slow it down. Remember to look at what you've accomplished, reap the harvest, plant for the next spring. There's different phases I like to bring into the work that help you process the work and get to where you're going. So it sticks, and we're in a program that really will sustain your life and lifestyle.
Right. And I know that for the holidays, I think last fall we did a women entrepreneurs, they had books, and you have a book also that can help if somebody couldn't make it to your retreat or couldn't get into the program. You have a book that's called Ordinary Zensation.
I have it right here.
Oh, awesome.
Ordinary Zensation. It's little, but I'll tell you what, it's powerful because it has a lot of action steps in there that help you get centered, grounded, and stop the negative self-talk. Again, the answers you seek are in here, but without getting quiet and tuning in, you're not going to hear them.
Right. Well, it was a perfect book. My sister-in-law, because she was a substitute teacher, had really lost her position when the pandemic came out. And it was Christmas, and she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I gave her, that's the book that I gave her. And she emailed me or texted me probably about a week after and said, this is so fascinating. This is really helping me, because she didn't know whether to hang on and wait to go back to substituting or try to do something different. And like so many of us, we had to kind of just ride with the wave of what was happening. But she loved it. So I can just give a testimonial from that perspective.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And it's very, very true. A lot changed for everybody in the past year and a half with the pandemic. And I'm hoping that many people have, home quarantined, shut down, actually listened to those voices that said, oh my God, I've been in the corporate world for 30 years, but I really want to make crocheted whatever, or artsy, whatever the thing was came to the surface. And they're like, I'm going to do this again.
I know.
That's your true spirit calling.
Well, and I think you and I probably are about the same age. And that's the other thing, what we wanted when we came out of college, or, when we were starting our careers, and then maybe after we became mothers or grandmothers, or, got into married life, or didn't, there's these different stages too within our lives that maybe the core of who we are stays the same, but sometimes what we desire, maybe because we have more time or because we've aged, mentally as well, that we come up with wanting to do different things. Do you find that with some of the women that come to your retreat, that, maybe it's still something they've been doing, but they want to do something a little bit differently with their main passion?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another big factor too is many women, their children are grown, older, gone to college, and what does my life look like now? My identity feels like it's shifting because my mother role has shifted, or my business or job or career has shifted. And how do I navigate that? There's so many feelings that bubble up, and a lot of it is based on how we have served our families.
Right. Very true. I remember, because I've always loved athletics, because my parents were physical education teachers in Rome, New York, where you're stationed right here. But as soon as my youngest son went off to college and I had all this empty space, I remember saying, I don't know how I'm going to fill that space. Am I just going to work harder on my business? Or what? Am I going to write books? What am I going to do? And I found that I love doing more and more exercise and fitness, and ended up training for the Boston Marathon. And I had no clue, but I had to give myself permission to figure out what that was. And because of that, I created a women's athletic network, which fit into a division of my company, all because I shifted. The core was still women, but I wanted to do something else that entertained me and might entertain women as well. They had empty homes. And so I can speak to the fact that shift happens, for sure. Now, something that you and I had also talked about recently, and I think that this was just a really brilliant idea. I've had a couple of people that have passed away recently, and you have beautiful boxes that I think were inspirational boxes, but it seems like people are now using them for people that are grieving. Can you tell us a little bit more
That's
about
very,
that?
very true. Yes, I would love to. So I have a monthly subscription box called the Zenspiration box. The name of my massage practice is Zensations, therapeutic massage. Zen for me is a place of peaceful inward being, and I really lean towards traditional Chinese medicine. In the process of growth through the massage practice and moving into life coaching, I woke up one morning and I said, I'm going to start a card company called Zenspiration Cards, and they're going to be inspirational. And my coach at the time said, have you ever heard of a subscription box? And I went, yeah. She goes, what if you're so artistic, and what if you took all your great ideas and you put them in an inspiration box and called it Zenspiration Boxes? And I just went, holy cow, bing. So let me just start a whole new business. Well, that was in 2018. And it has taken a while, and I have learned a whole new platform, the subscription box business. And typically those boxes are a different theme each month, supporting, or the tagline is your life coach in a box. Okay. So I do have some standalone boxes that you can just go on the website and order. And just recently, I had a dear friend reach out to me to make a box honoring grief. We weren't sure what we were going to call it. And ultimately it came out honoring grief, because it's such a huge transformation, that feeling of loss. And I put together I found a beautiful book, easy to read, that supports someone who's right. It's so sudden, it's so new, it's so heartbreaking. And I wrote a beautiful insert to go in, and the items support you in self-care, because you're the last person, no way are you going to care for yourself. You're lost, you're flailing. It says, I see you, I hear you, I love you, I'm with you, and I'm trying to support you. Take what you need, leave the rest. And each item has a little bit about it in a very loving way that supports them gently.
Right. I think
my eyes are tearing up thinking about it, because I know I did this for a friend, and I thought so many people are in a place of loss and grief that it's a beautiful way to be able to send them something unique and different, more than a card,
Right.
something that they can open and just go to these items. Like one item is a pendant, it's a worry stone,
Mhm.
and you can just put it on and, just that physical action of rubbing your thumb into the
Right.
stone. And I use rose quartz because it's the stone of love,
Yeah.
is another way to process. There's a little kit for forget-me-nots that you can
Mhm.
plant
Mhm.
in your
Oh,
yard.
yeah. No, that's
So I'm excited about this box, even though it's, in tune to grief. How do we honor that? How do we show up for it? It's just very painful and awkward for many.
right.
And I was pleased to come up with this box.
Yeah, my father passed away very suddenly and he was fairly young, so I didn't know what to do. I remember the hospital nurse handing me yellow pages, and I didn't even know what I was supposed to be doing in terms of finding a funeral home because it was so sudden. But I came home, and the first thing I wanted to do was to go to a store that had a book about grief and mourning. And so that's why that really struck me. And you're always looking for signs too, and symbols that your loved one is close and nearby. So I think a grief box is just an absolutely wonderful idea for people because they're looking for something, and you can't
Yeah.
always find it. So does somebody go through your website to actually find and order a box?
Yes.
Is that
It's not on the website yet. It'll be up by next week, and it's
okay?
zenspirationboxes.com.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
I literally just built this box and I thought this is a very beautiful gesture.
Mhm.
And I would love to make it available for people who are in this place of transition and grief
Mhm.
transformation. I mean, grief is the ultimate loss,
I
is
know.
the ultimate transformation.
Right. Well, you're reminding me. I've been in business for 26 years, and I've had to
Mhm.
navigate a lot of different changes along the way. And one of the things that you do in order to grow a business, besides getting better lighting so that you don't look red, is to add services and products. And sometimes you don't think of these new products or services until you get to a client or a customer asking you if you can provide something. And then you think about, oh, is this something that I can do? Can I afford it?
Mhm.
And you can do a marketing plan for it, and then you can start selling it. I think what I've found that's so tricky sometimes about adding new services and products is just the fact that you have to market them as hard as you market all your other things, even though it's on your website and even though you have people hopefully drawing straight to your website. And I think sometimes that's the hardest thing for women entrepreneurs is that we have so many great ideas, and yet sales is such a huge part of what we do in terms of making sure the public knows what we have. Are you looking to partner with or not nursing homes? I'm sorry, funeral homes or any other or hospitals or anything?
No,
Yeah, in order.
honestly, that didn't even come up for me yet
Mhm.
at all. I was thinking, it would be on the website. And when I do any lives or I'm talking about on Facebook or any of my email letters that I send out,
Right.
I would do a little letter that suggests, and of course that business is on Instagram, so I will share on that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um, Once you create a box that can stand alone, it's easy because the items don't change. The monthly box is a little more challenging because the theme changes every month. And I'm trying to batch out 3 months at a time so I can stay
Right.
ahead. So I can order the products and have what I need and have it ready. That's why it's not on the website yet, because
Yeah.
I don't have all the books in. I'm sorry, I'm dinging.
That's okay. You're
Any-
dinging and I'm back to full color. So,
Oh, you are back to full
this is
color. That's so
technology.
great.
Who knows what's really going to happen? It's a surprise every time, just like your boxes. It's all about surprise.
So again, just talking about word of mouth, I was about to do a grief workshop when the pandemic hit, right?
Mm.
Because I knew a lot of people were going to be going through this, and how do we talk about it? And I'm friends with the folks that run Mohawk Valley Compassionate Network, and that's a network for folks that have lost children at any age.
Yeah.
And they're an amazing group that helps support people get through. instances like this.
Right.
As the pandemic progressed, I realized I was so fearful, anxious, and exhausted that I put it to the side. And just recently, again, grief has come up again, and I feel it's a really important topic to talk about, share, and support.
Right. No,
So
absolutely.
I'm excited about, to be excited about grief is, that's not my point. My point is I'm excited to be able to support people in this fashion.
Yeah, totally. No, and again, I think it has a touching, not everybody loves flowers, or, you can't, everyone's very different, but what you're describing sounds like it's personal and what it would touch people in very deep ways. And people
Mhm.
appreciate it, I think, with grief, that just others know that they're going through it, and that, it will take a little while to come on out, come out of that grief process. So your box starts by helping, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's the support, letting them know that it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be broken wide open.
Right.
It's part of your process, and people are going to want to love you and support you. Take what you need, leave the rest.
Right.
Is just something I feel they need to hear.
Right.
And there's more to the letter, and I'm going to add into the website. If you'd love to read the insert, I would direct message it to people. I'm not going to put it right on display,
Sure.
but anybody who's interested in the box, I would share that with, so they have a sense of, so that it's an appropriate. I would also customize any letter or note that you wanted to include in the package. I do that with birthdays too.
Yeah, that's, you have to just keep people remembering that you're out there for those, unique gifts that.
Absolutely. And I do use a lot of locally sourced products, from candles to pottery to honey, maple syrup, coffee, lots of locally sourced items from local crafters, artisans, and the like.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We say women supporting women, but there is such a thing about small business supporting small business, even though I always say put your money in the hands of women first and foremost.
That's what I shoot for, women first. And
Good.
sometimes you find something unique that is
I know.
made by men.
I know. I always have to, I always tell people I have a husband and 2 sons. I love men, but I'm here to financially
Totally love them, right? Totally. I am all about supporting women first and getting money in the hands of women, as much as possible, for sure.
Perfect. Well, my last question for you, before, I want to make sure that after I ask you this question, you just give information on exactly how individuals can find you, like your URL and that kind of stuff. But from your first day to today, how do you think that you've grown as a woman entrepreneur that could help other women in the process? Flexibility? Is it, finding the right partners, the right staff, having funding? I mean, if there was like a couple top things that you think have helped you from day one to today, what would that be?
I would say take your idea, write it out and journal it down, write it out and take a look at it, and ask for help along the way. If you've never started a business, check in with your Women's Business Association, Small Business Association, ask around, and you can get so much information free from these organizations that support women in business. I would talk to anybody who wanted to chat about starting a business. What did I go through? How did I get a DBA? Whatever the question is, I would be open to sharing that information in just a phone call.
Yeah, well, thank you. So how can people reach you if besides giving you a phone call, if they want to order something from you or ask you a little bit more about anything you've talked about, your retreat, your massage therapy, your Zensation boxes, your book?
I popped into the chat. My link to my soul's compass.
Okay.
And if I pop into the chat, zensationsmassage.com, you'll get my email there.
Okay.
And then there's zenspirationboxes.com.
Okay.
And my last one, the book is easy. It's ordinaryzenspiration.com for the book. I have them at the office as well. If you're coming through Rome, shoot me a message and I'll autograph it personally for you.
Oh, that sounds good. And grab some chicken cacciatori from the Savoy. I don't know.
Pick us some cacciatori at one of our great restaurants, right?
I know. Well, thank you so much for that. And for anybody listening, what I will do is, this is a YouTube video, but what I'll do is I will put April's information, contact information in the comment section so that you can reach out and get a hold of her. So April, thank you so much for sharing great wisdom on expansion, on grief, on